So, hi everyone who joined us. Today, we're going to have a very special webinar. We're going to talk about how to be the most efficient when creating ads to perform with our partner, Maria Waters from Fortis. Let me introduce the whole crew who is going to be part of this conversation. So, I'm Lee. I'm the host of the yellowHEAD webinar. I'm the VP of Growth at yellowHEAD, and we have today Noah Miller and Maria Waters, and I will let them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Maria. I lead the creative services, product marketing, and first-party teams at Fortis. I've been doing creatives for UA for over 10 years, and it's my favorite part of the job.
Noah. I'm head of creative at yellowHEAD. I've been at yellowHEAD for 5 years, working with Maria for the longest time, which has been a real pleasure. And I've been in marketing for almost 15 years, and performance is really one of my favorite things as well. So I'm really happy to be here today to talk about it.
Amazing. So the experience of the two of you will make this conversation, I think, the most efficient as well. The agenda for today, we will start with creative efficiency. Then we will discuss more in depth about gaming ads with the experience that Noah brings with all yellowHEAD partners and the experience that Maria brings with Zynga, Kabam, WB Games, and Fortis. And then we will have few discussion points that for questions that we got from the audience and questions that we saw that people are really interested lately. Okay, so for creative efficiency, Noah, I want to address the first question to you. What does efficiency mean to you when creating ads?
So thank you. This is a great question because I think that today with the different algorithms of the different platforms, the social platforms, we learned that in order to scale and find winners for performance, we need to work in an 80-20 type of strategy, meaning that we need 20% of our creatives to be brand new, fresh, unique ideas. And then an additional 80% of them need to be iterations so that we're constantly adding new blood, driving new things into the different campaigns to find the next winners. And in order to do that, we need to build ads in a modular way so that creating the iterations can be fast, it can be easy, so that we can constantly upload new creatives, test new things, understand what's performing, what's not performing, and constantly find those winners. Because in order to keep our campaigns, fatigue today can be insane. On TikTok, it's super fast. On Facebook, we see ads surviving much longer, but we're constantly looking for new winners. And in order to do that, we need to think efficient. We need to think, how can we generate a lot of creatives without, taking a lot of time spent on producing things that might not survive more than 2 days on our campaigns. So we need to think super efficient, super modular on how to scale and scale fast.
Thank you, Noah. That was amazing. Yes, Maria.
I was going to follow up a little bit on the 80-20 rule. A little hint, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There are concepts that are proven that have worked throughout the years. Choose ads. It's one of my favorites. It works every time for every game, for every genre that I work on. You just need to kind of reinvent it a little bit and kind of rethink how we just reimagine it maybe and kind of really understanding, just making them fun. Like if you can keep them fun, that kind of brings efficiency. That brings me to my second point, that it's better winning rate. I think a lot of companies might just shot darts in the air. Like create a lot of ads without really thinking what having a strategy, but understanding the game, understanding the environment and the competitors, and kind of understanding what really clicks with those audiences, and having a really robust creative strategy plan will allow you to have a better winning rate, which it's kind of important based on the amount of ads that are needed in this environment these days.
Thank you, Noah and Maria. That was great answers for that question. And I want to continue also with you, Maria, because I'm sure you can elaborate more about the efficiency point. So, how do you define efficiency in context of creating ads that perform?
Something that is very crucial for me is creating templates. As I mentioned before, with the choose ads, that is proven. We know that it works. So kind of having templates and expanding on that for each game, we will give you efficiency. There are proven ads like choose ads, before and after, character highlights, a day in my life. All of those templates can be translated into all other games, and you have some good possibilities that they might be winners. And something crucial that we haven't talked about yet is VO on ads. Or audience are listening, especially after TikTok becoming so popular. They're listening in all of the social platforms, so it's important for us to optimize VO.
Yes, and if I can just jump in here and say that today there are so many possibilities for AI voiceover, which also makes the whole process super efficient, because if back in the day, a couple of months ago, you had to like find a voiceover artist and reach out to them and then give them like direction on how to do it and feedback. So today you can just sit on your computer and say, I want this style. I want it to be a young woman, sports style, and get like just a bunch of opportunities. And it's something that once you go into the 80% of iterations, you can test so many different styles of voiceovers, so many different styles of opening hooks, anything that, you can take those choices ads, those before and afters, all those templates, and just generate more and more and more. So from a template to the 80% iteration, it's such a small step. What used to sound like such a big hustle. How do I create so many creatives? But now it has order, and you're able to really kick production at a higher scale.
And if I might add one more thing, I think there's a dislike for robotic VO a little bit, but actually it performs. And if you can use it, you can find, and now they're fine-tuning it so it's not noticeable at all times, but robotic voice performs, and it's faster and it's easier to iterate. So that's something that it's great. And talking about optimizations, I just wanted to say, small changes are enough. You don't need to reinvent the wheel doing these optimizations. Just small little changes will make a huge difference.
Yeah, it can be, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep on talking forever. It can be music. It can be, like a change of character in the opening. It can be the way you style the headline, like on TikTok. Every time you make the smallest change, the algorithm reviews it as a completely new ad, which is a little different than Meta, but you can scale a lot of creatives with very small changes.
That's amazing. And I'm sure our listeners like writing notes and learning a lot from those tips. And let's continue for data-driven creative. So Noah, I will start with you on that. But Maria, feel free to add, because as we mentioned, this was like a long-term partnership of creating efficiency of a data-driven creative and efficient ads. So yellowHEAD is known for its innovative use of data and creative strategies. How do you balance the two to ensure efficiency without compromising creativity?
I feel like the formula for performance and marketing performance in general is data plus creative equals efficiency. We run campaigns where we know the data for everything. What channel, what exactly, like what placement, what length, we have all of these details that are data related, and we don't have it for creative, and it just doesn't make any sense. We need to understand what within our creative is performing, completely analyze it, and then learn from it from one creative batch to the next. That's the way to be efficient. That's the way to also get inspired. And that's the way to constantly, find the next winner. The more, it's like, imagine a creative person. You tell them, create a creative, like we need a line. We need to know what are we creating our creatives on, and data allows us to be efficient and be super creative, because once you know where you need to put the pinpoint, then you're able to, come up with the craziest ideas, amazing ideas. Data allows us to be more efficient.
I agree with that. I think you have to follow the data, but the caveat with that is that you need to understand how to make it actionable for the team. I'm a fan of tagging and themes to kind of create that. I think you can't make decisions based on one winning ad. It's a trend of continuing winning ads that have the same theme, that kind of, or the same tags that can kind of help us understand specifically what is working and what is engaging our users. So we use data for that. I think also something important is that there's creativity beyond creative. We need to understand the UA campaigns they're targeting, what channels they're using, and how are people using those channels. Like, without understanding the environment and even the optimization methods of UA, you can create ads, but they might just not work because you have to work closely with the UA team to make sure that you're totally synced and you totally understand how UA works. Even the algorithms and how you win at auctions, it's important.
Yeah, and just one last thing, Maria, something you said just jumped to my mind, that performance creatives are very different than regular advertising, because we have a product. Sometimes it changes, but most of the times it remains the same. And you have to constantly come up with ideas on how to promote it where nothing changes. Like, the brief is always the same. So the data really helps you understand what within our product is what we need to focus on. And I think that is something that is super important, especially when you're creating so many creative ads to something that month after month is probably the same thing. So I think it's super important for us as creative people to really understand where to put our creative minds to.
I think that's what keeps it fun, though. We have to think outside the box, and we have to reimagine concepts, which kind of keeps you in your toes.
Definitely. Now I feel jealous about your both jobs. That this is what the two of you do. And next question to you, Maria, to share a little bit about gaming ads, maybe a case study or a success that you had in the past, or whatever you feel to share. What are the key factors in creating gaming ads that stand out and perform well?
For sure. It's gaming ads are fun. I mean, that is what I love the most. But then thinking outside the box, like we mentioned before, is super important. Is like, don't get like, I like to know, like, for example, what ads are working for other people, but I don't like to kind of stay there. I like to reinvent and kind of create new things, and also I want to make sure that I feel surrounded by really good partners that think differently. Like, I'm not a fan of having just a creative services team in-house. I like my trusted vendors that actually understand performance, because that's how you diversify. Diversifying is super important. And something that really made a difference for us is kind of trying to understand how to test. The algorithms are different in all the different channels, but kind of trying to understand how to test. And for example, on Facebook, we have side campaigns that kind of helps us kind of get those learnings quickly before we put those ads in the BAU. That has been a success for us. And again, TikTok, it's a little similar, but again, all of them are a bit different, especially with TikTok that adds the case so quickly. But trying to understand all those measures and having the side campaigns, that's our bread and butter.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Noah, anything you want to add on?
No, I totally agree. Just about one thing, that gaming is the industry to experiment and explore and just try anything and everything, because you can just really go wild and take any game and give it like a different direction and a different style. I can say that at yellowHEAD, of course, we have clients from a variety of industries, and a lot of the times we take gaming concepts and try and place them on different apps on, like, so it's really something that that is super interesting within this industry, because everyone just goes crazy with ideas. So when you see something repeating itself, you're saying, okay, something here is working. How do I take this concept and maybe do it like on a health and fitness kind of app, or something e-com style? So it can really kind of open your mind. And yeah, I love that.
And if I might add one thing, it's always making them fun. If the ads make you smile, it's a good sign. It's like we're making games where our users are gamers. We need to make sure that we make them fun, and also don't forget that you have 3 seconds to bring them in. So the hook is super important.
Since the two of you mentioned like the hook, I know it's maybe a little bit off topic, but if you can maybe elaborate more about that, because I think it would be helpful for our listeners.
Yeah, so I'll jump in first if it's okay. So really the hook is a way to take a winning ad and just test it from a bunch of different directions. The way we look at it is one, we always try to test different messaging. So if we have a hook and it's about a specific character, then maybe take that character and say different things about that character, or maybe then change the character, or just always try the messaging first, and then next can be like testing different styles, whether it's a UGC style, whether it's 2D, whether it's 3D, and I'm only talking about the hook. Like the rest of the body of the video remains the same. I'm only talking about the first 3 seconds. What are we doing in those first 3? I'll say 5, but like the most, and how are we just trying to generate something else? And when something catches, then we take that one thing and we put it on all other ads that we have running to see if that hooks work, then how we're making it work even more. And it's kind of like fishing, right? Like you're sending out the rod and you're just waiting for something to catch. And in order for something to catch on social media, you just need to make a lot of baits. So just constantly think of any way and any style, stock footage, actual footage, gaming, like the actual gameplay footage, creator, any style you can create on those first 3 seconds, and then the rest of the video remains the same. So I think those hooks are super, super important.
I agree. And if I might add one thing, it's look at the social channels. I find that it's even more important than looking at competitor ads, because that is where our users are, and that's where they're spending time. And a lot of our ideas we draw from how what things are trending and how people are speaking, and what things they're doing. Right? I think A Day in My Life. I think Noah and I created a while ago, and it kind of came from looking at TikTok and seeing how that is trending everywhere. And it's an evergreen trend. It's not like the ice bucket challenge, but anyway. But we try to keep those. We try to spend time on the social platforms and kind of bring that into the ads. And I think it makes a better connection and a better winning rate for our ads.
I feel that every sentence that the two of you say is like a gem. So thank you so much for sharing. And I want to continue in it. Start with the first one, then I want to hear the two of you, then we will continue forward just to make sure that we hear from both angles, I feel like, and from your both experience. So how can your common challenges in ad creation be overcome?
Okay, so I think that I said that point a little bit earlier about the fact that you're constantly promoting the same product, the same app, the same game, and you continuously need to create new creatives. So the best way to tackle this is by having a creative strategy, is by working with a creative matrix. It's by splitting up the different motivations, the barriers, the things that are important to your audience, and then seeing how you can execute them in a variety of different ways. I'll keep on going with the choose ad. A choose ad can be created in so many different ways. It's like it's a template that's everlasting. Give this same brief to 5 different creative people, and each one will probably execute it differently. So the idea is to kind of have buckets to understand where we're starting, what we're learning, and where we're going. Constantly add on top of it. So I think that those challenges, any challenges with creatives, can really the first base to overcome them is by having a strategy, by having a direction, and understanding where we're going and what we're aiming for.
I totally agree. I think another challenge is it's the understanding the boundaries with a game. I've worked in a lot of branded games with Noah. It's been a little painful since you kind of have to stay within boundaries. Game platform rules, like for example, not being able to show blood or violence in games that are fighting games, it kind of becomes a challenge, and kind of trying to get capture from the games is another thing that we struggle. So kind of quickly understanding before you start your boundaries, your partners, and how you're going to solve for capture, I think is super important. It's a little bit of pre-homework before starting, but it kind of helps you kind of get everything running and your partner's running super fast since there's so many ads needed. And also another thing is look at a variety of ads. Don't only look at videos. Video ads are super time consuming. Display ads, you can find performance, especially on Facebook. You can find a lot of performance these days on display ads. Kind of diversifying, it's important. And for Google, play with the copy. Copy is a type of creative, and it's super underrated. I think you can find a lot of emotions, you can draw a lot of learnings by testing copy and kind of using it as just as important as the ad itself. Or sometimes, like in Google, it's standalone. So you have to make sure that it carries its weight. I think previously it was not as fun, but then that's another part that you can just get super creative and have a lot of fun and find performance.
So thank you for sharing those. And A/B testing is a big thing, and a lot of money is invested in testing. So if you can share, how can success in A/B testing be achieved?
For sure. I've mentioned a couple of things before, but to summarize, you need to make sure that you understand the UA component to your creatives, understanding how those campaign works and kind of working really closely with UA is necessary to make sure that you kind of find the way that you can test in each platform, right? Like I mentioned before, it's like maybe TikTok on Facebook, side campaigns, it's important, but again, you need to understand where to put those campaigns to kind of get the learnings. If you have a side campaign totally different, doesn't matter the learnings, Facebook won't know that, right? So kind of really understanding where you test and how you test it, it's important. And also understand what stage you are out of testing. Like if you're starting to test, start broadly. You don't have to test. If you test the same ad 20 times, you're not going to get enough learnings to get those optimizations going. But if you start with your matrix and your emotions and you try to go really bold and broad, then you get those ads that climb to the top to the BAUs, you get learnings from those, and then you can start the optimization campaigns. And at the same time, you take those, you put them back in the testing campaign and quickly can gather the winners that go back to the BAU campaign. So just really investing the time and the effort to really understand each platform and how you can create that circle of life, it's amazing. And also maybe one more thing, maybe making sure that you are sharing the data and the actionable data specifically with the creative team, so they actually know what they're doing. Like a lot of the times, when we're doing 5 channels and these days you have to optimize each channel differently. You need everyone to carry their weight and help. We have our creative team doing some of that. We have some of our partners like Noah kind of saying, Noah, this is working. This is what we think it's working on our themes and tags. And again, it just creates a really nice circle that is expandable, that actually you can get efficiency by working together.
Can I say just one more thing, is that even though most UA people will probably just give you the bottom line of the main KPI, but for creative people, it's also really important to see the ads that drove a lot of engagement, even if they didn't drive the actual results, because that means there was something there. And you can still, even though, it didn't perform amazingly, our players still said that this ad was interesting to them. So let's find why it was interesting to them. What is the reason why it didn't actually, follow through with, actual the actual KPI that we're aiming for. But there's a lot of insights in that data, and it's super important to share with the creative team, because that's how we connect to the roots of those ads. And all of the ads are our babies, and we want them all to succeed. So I think the first step is to seeing how we can always improve what we've already created before we go and create new things.
For sure. And then 2 points on that. In engagement, if you can see, you have like 25, 50, 75, 100 engagement percentages. And it's just kind of nice to dissect the ads a little bit. And then in modular ads, you're able to understand sometimes even if something's really engaging and it's later on, we kind of twist the ad a little bit to kind of bring those performance farther in the earlier in the ad. So just playing around with those numbers is super fun. And another thing, it's looking at what didn't work. It's also interesting. Just trying to understand what is. There's a lot of hypotheses on those things that kind of can help you keep the creative juices going for the creative team.
That was super interesting. And I want to highlight that thing that you mentioned between connecting UA insights to creative. It's super important. And this is exactly, you both know that, but I want everyone also to know what we do at yellowHEAD in order to make sure that those ads perform better. And the fact that the two of you mentioned that connection between the two. So everyone who listen, make sure that if you create ads in one place and run your UA in another place, connect the dot in order to create it better. We do it within yellowHEAD with our UA team and our creative team to make sure they always connect and communicate. And if there is anything else to add on that, let me know, ladies. If not, I want us to also discuss on another interesting topics, because we hear a lot about fake ads. That sometimes maybe help to show them the way to create creative, or sometimes help to achieve some results. But let me know, what is your opinion about creating fake ads?
So I think this is like the following conversation really leads to this one, because at the end, a fake ad, and let's just make sure that everyone is aligned on what is a fake ad. It's an ad that doesn't look anything like what the game is. We're kind of taking existing trends, kind of like, there's the road, and then if you go to the right, it's ×2, and if you go to the left, it's -50. And then when you get to the game, it's actually an RPG game. It has nothing to do with math. And you're like, okay, so why did I get like a math style ad? And I think at that point, we need to kind of go back and say, what is the UA's KPIs? Because if the UA is aiming just for downloads and we just want engagement, we just want people to click, get to the app page and download the game, okay, then fake ads could be a great way to mislead our players, but and get our KPIs. But if we're hoping to find the most loyal, time invested players who will become our daily active users, then we need to make our ads as true to the nature of the game, because once they will see an ad, get to the page, to the App Store page, download it, the full funnel, get the experience of, the first days of the game. It all needs to connect together in order to make an ad successful, right? Because we usually look at ads D7, D14, D30. We want to make sure that they get the full experience from the moment when they saw an ad to when they download the game, and it has to match. And when a fake ad shows you something else, it really hurts that experience. And then our players are very upset with us. and we don't want that. So in my opinion, and Maria, you probably have a lot to say about fake ads as well. It really depends on what you're aiming for, but if you're looking to find those good players, those players who will becoming your daily users, fake ads are not the way to go.
I agree. I'm not a fan. I think we're misleading the users, and I think we are the communicators we're communicating with the users, and we need to make sure, that we are as transparent as possible. I believe that we can still make every game fun, but just, being creative and having fun and kind of showing that into our games. I think something interesting that I've seen a lot of companies done, it's mini games. They kind of put these mini games that kind of help with the UA funnel, but then they translate into the game a little bit. Again, skeptical a little bit, but at least they're not deceiving and whatnot. I think it helps kind of broaden the funnel. And maybe that's a middle ground for people where, you're not, you're bringing a lot of people and losing. You're not, but maybe you're just engaging them in a different way.
So I want to ask if the two of you created fake ads in your career, because we just heard your opinion, and I hope that whoever listens to this will take this advice and won't upset the users that are going to download and play with the games, because this is what we want at the end.
Have done some ads that are fake. I have tried them. The conversion metrics tend to rise, and then you can make them really sticky. But again, the retention numbers kind of drop. So at the end of the day, you kind of have to do the math and figure out if it works for your game.
Yeah, but I do have to say that there was a point in time where we did a lot of what we called gamified ads at the time. So pretty much it's like using the game, showing it as it is, but trying to incorporate another game. So it's not completely fake. It's kind of just taking your game and putting it in another perspective of another game. It kind of sounds fake, but it's not. Call us, we'll show you examples.
Leave time for our last topic for discussion and hear from you, because you're leading the gaming creative industry for a while, the two of you. And I want to hear what you see shaping ad efficiency and performance marketing in 2025.
I think that what we are seeing is the biggest word in the world at the moment, which is AI. At the end of the day, there are so many AI tools out there. It's practically endless at the moment. And there are many ways to make specific aspects of the creative process more efficient. We have tested out a bunch of different type of tools. We have not found the one tool that does everything, but we have found a lot of tools that shorten different aspects of things in order to make things faster. So like when we spoke about the AI voiceover, and of course, for AI, for concepting, there's ChatGPT and Claude and different things kind of help you start driving the creative juices. Image generation, video editing, which is a little more complicated in gaming because we're working with actual assets. But there are many different tools that can help speed up and really stand to the words that nothing is impossible anymore. You don't need to open a camera and spend tons of money on production where certain things can happen with AI. Of course, it's still tricky within the gaming industry, and I'll let Maria also expand on that. But I think that is the one thing that we are going to need to see how we're incorporating as many tools as possible in order to just allow us to make creatives faster. They will always look good, but sometimes even better.
For sure. I'm excited about AI. I think it'll bring a lot of efficiency. I think, a lot of companies struggle with kind of making it safe in from a legal point. So that's sort of a struggle, but I think hopefully later in the year it'll be better. And then another thing that I would be excited about, and it will come. It's kind of consolidating a lot of these tools. Like, you can go here to resize the ads, and then you can go here to create scripts that kind of match your video. You can expand images, but nothing is consolidated in one place in a way that creates efficiency. So I think once we see that consolidated, it really will make a difference. And another thing that I'm super excited about, there's a lot of companies popping out that are actually optimizing the funnels and kind of using those modular pieces that we're creating in ads to be able to kind of reshape them based on performance. I'm very excited about that because then, we can have, I'm semi-excited, I guess. I think we can find performance, but the little part that I'm skeptical on is I want to make sure that the emotions and all those feelings that we work so hard in when we're creating those ads are kept, and we don't end up with a Frankenstein that has no feelings. So hopefully they can find a middle ground with time, maybe later in 2025.
Yeah, so I want to continue that and exactly what you just mentioned. And I believe that what everyone should take from that is that AI can help and make processes, I think, more efficient, but it can't replace, at least these days, but maybe in the next, I don't know how many years. I don't want to mention any number that no one will caught me on that, but right now it's not replacing any creative team. It just helps the processes because at the end, we don't want to end up with a Frankenstein video that looks weird because the voice is from here and the editing was from here and everything was from there. So once, as Maria mentioned, to consolidate, we don't know when this will happen, but until then, it's really to take it into the efficiency way. And this is mainly the topic about our main topic for this webinar today. And I really enjoyed hearing the two of you, but I think we do have a few more minutes. So I want to go back to a topic, Maria, that you mentioned in the beginning. And I wasn't sure we will have time to continue and discuss. So if you can maybe elaborate more when you mentioned that the first 3 seconds are super important. You and Noah, you both mentioned that. But if you can share a little bit what you see that stands out in the first 3 seconds in the ads that you created.
For sure. It's like kind of understanding what users, that goes back to my point that trying to understand what our users really want, what they're excited about it, and kind of trying to find a difference, a spice, kind of like the heartbeat of the game, and kind of bringing that for the first 3 seconds. With some things might be the characters. So maybe it's, a dragon. I love dragons, but they work every time. But trying to find...
Who doesn't love dragons?
I know, right? And I've seen them work in every genre. So I'm definitely a fan. But trying to really find those emotions and really digging into being creative on how we do it. I think it's important understanding what are your top characters, what are your selling points that really are out there, and kind of putting them in the first 3 seconds. Make that, a lot of the times you might be asked a 15-second ad, a 30-second ad. That doesn't work for me. The ad should be as long as it needs to be for us to get creative with things, right? So in the same as the first 3 seconds, you need to make sure that it kind of flows seamlessly with the ad. You have 3 seconds, you can stretch it to 5, but you need to make sure that you maintain engagement and use it not as a rule of thumb. You need to make sure that you're feeling that ad at all times. If it gets boring and you don't want to watch it anymore, there's your answer. It's like, just stop it there. Keep it short and sweet throughout. Don't make it too long. Although I have seen 1 minute ads work.
Thank you so much. And Noah, one last question to you. If you can share with us what makes an ad truly memorable.
I'm trying to crack that too. But I do think that to make someone take action, you really need to hit a nerve. And memorable ads are ads that are based on an insight. And even games have insights. And any product that we're creating ads for, we really try to understand why, the reason why, what's in it for our player. Why would they enjoy this ad? Why would they want to download it? What's the reason? If they're RPG players, what is it about playing and immersing yourself in characters? What is it for them? Or if you're just casual players, what is this downtime for your brain doing for you? And each time, if we create an ad that comes from what's in it for our player, it makes it memorable for them, because when they watch it, they're like, oh yeah, I want to download this game. I want to download this app. I want to buy this product, because it's based on a real life insight. And I think that's the main story for any ad we create.
For sure. It's kind of like emotion, like, you have to know your users' emotions and kind of tag it to them, right?
Yep.
If it's maybe older women, cuteness might be a factor, right? And it's like, maybe we're doing a Forex game, kind of trigger the strategy and I can do better. Just every segment has a kind of trigger points and emotions. And then if you kind of really sit down and think about that, you'll create more ads that are fun and almost don't look like ads per se.
That was really, I would say, insightful. And I would love to thank the two of you for joining me today and share all your good insights and tips. And I'm sure that whoever will try those tips will see that we create better ads and better performance. And I want to wish everyone a great 2025. Let's kick it off the creative way, the best way. And again, thank you, Noah. Thank you, Maria.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.